Welcome to Proven and Probable, where we focus on metals, mining, and more. I'm your host, Maurice Jackson. Today, we will discuss a company that is expanding and discovering heap leach gold deposits in Nevada. I'm speaking of Northern Empire Resources, trading on the TSXV symbol NM and on the OTC symbol PSPGF. Joining us today is Michael Allen. He is the President, CEO, and Director of Northern Empire. Mr. Allen, welcome to the show, sir.
Thank you very much.
Mr. Allen, for someone new to the story, who is Northern Empire and what is the thesis that you're attempting to prove?
Northern Empire is a relatively new company in the Nevada space. We are a team of what we call businessmen that do mining. The company is focused on what is called the Sterling Gold Project. It's about 2 hours northwest of Las Vegas, and the thesis that we're testing is essentially high-grade gold mineralization in the southern part of the U.S. and a heap leach operation that we're trying to establish down there.
Now, please provide us with a historical narrative on the Sterling Gold Project and why Northern Empire decided to make this your flagship project.
Yeah, the Sterling Gold Project is essentially two past-producing operations that have been combined under the banner of Northern Empire. There's what's called the Sterling Gold Mine, which was operated by Imperial Metals, and then there's also what we call what was called the Daisy Mine, and is our crown project in the northern part of the project. Grossly speaking, the projects are 160 kilometers northwest of Las Vegas, located in the Walker Lane of Nevada. We're in the mountain range called the Bear Mountains, B-A-R-E, as in not a bug, blade of grass, or plant. And it's an excellent place to develop mines, and these are past producers that have been successful in the past with excellent metallurgy and in a great location.
Now, Mr. Allen, the timing to acquire the Sterling Gold Project couldn't have been better for Northern Empire. Please share with us your optionality success, and are there any reversionary interest on the Sterling Gold Project?
Yeah, we were able to purchase a fully permitted gold mine from Imperial Metals. We were able to get 100% interest in the property. There's a few NSRs on it, depending on which part of the ground that you're on. There's a 2.25 over the Sterling mine itself, and as part of the transaction with Imperial, we gave a 2% NSR for anything that wasn't previously burdened with an NSR to Imperial. But we own 100%, and we've staked a lot more ground that is not burdened with an NSR.
All right. Would you please share with us your management's philosophy?
I think that the best way to describe management philosophy is to sort of go back to the statement. This is businessmen that do mining. So we're looking for a couple of things out of the company, and it's all about liquidity. I mean, there's an option with the backbone of the permitted asset that is Sterling, of growing this into a company that is a large U.S.-based gold producer with a starter asset being the Sterling Gold Mine, or there is an option that there are other large U.S.-based gold producers that are going to look at the Sterling asset, the Sterling project, and say that's something that we want, and create that liquidity that way. So it's a movement of shareholders in and out, but we're dominantly driven as shareholders ourselves and to shepherd the capital in an effective manner to increase shareholder value.
Michael, now that we have a historical context of the Sterling Gold Project, which contains 4 deposits, let's discuss Northern Empire's main deposit, the Sterling Mine. What can you share with us?
And there's a lot of very interesting things about the Sterling Gold Mine. It's been around in various forms since the 1970s. It started as a private mine operated by some guys out of Nevada. It was swallowed into E&B, which ultimately became Imperial. It was operated in the past as an underground heap leach operation, quite high grade, with exceptional recoveries. Historic grades mined from the underground were 7.4 grams per ton. Recoveries were about 88%. And what happened in the past was Imperial realized that there was an opportunity to transition from the underground operation to an open pit operation, and they began the permitting exercise and did the engineering internally for Imperial to actually say, okay, there's an opportunity here to go in open pit. They went through the permitting process, and they they had a gap. The permits were delayed before they got them, and didn't make the transition to the open pit themselves. When that gap in permitting being in hand came in was when the Mount Poly spill happened, and so Imperial was capital constrained. Nothing could happen down at Sterling, as that all their capital went to fix Mount Poly, and so that created the opportunity for Northern Empire to make this acquisition.
Now, Mr. Allen, the Sterling mine is permitted for restart. Is that correct?
That is correct, yeah.
When will it restart, and what is the strategy in delaying the restart?
I couldn't give you a hard date as to when we're going to restart the Sterling. The strategy for delaying the restart is to really understand what we've got, both at the Sterling and at what we call the Crown series of deposits in the north. The Sterling, with it being a high-grade underground operation in the past, there were several opportunities that were left kind of untested. Nothing less than a 3.5 gram per ton intercept was thought to be significant for the Sterling because of the underground nature of it at the time. So there were several shallow intercepts that need to be followed up on. So things like 22 meters of 2 grams per ton that need to be followed up on. And we're going to be investigating those and making sure that we understand and are able to optimize value of the Sterling before we do a restart. And then also right now we're focusing on the Crown part of the project, what we call the northern part, and seeing what we can get for value for shareholders up there.
Mr. Allen, being that the Sterling mine was a previous producer, what can you share with us regarding metallurgy, existing infrastructure, and capital expenditures?
Historical capital expenditures are probably the most difficult to quantify because it's been around for a long time. The metallurgy is excellent. The commercial leach cycle was 88% recovery in a 30-day leach cycle using run of mine. So you're looking at a very coarse material going onto the leach pad. It's about 24-inch minus. Existing infrastructure on the site. The process plant is there, which is the what it's called ADR, or carbon columns for your listeners. That is sized actually for the permitted open pit operation. So really, in terms of going forward capital, it's actually a fairly simple operation to turn on. There's generators there, there's offices there, there's manpower there. The well is already drilled. And that process plant is there, and actually it is operational. We're actually pumping solutions through it right now and recovering about 3/4 of an ounce per day.
All right, moving on to the Crown series of deposits, which consists of the Daisy, Secret Pass, and SNA respectively. Michael, what can you share with us regarding the Daisy deposit?
Well, the Daisy deposit is an exceptional high-grade deposit. It has all the signatures of a Carlin deposit, which is one of the generally what you see is the larger deposits in the state of Nevada. Daisy is about 2.1 grams per ton. It's hosted in carbonate rocks, and it's also a past producer. There's a small pit there where Glamis and Ray Rock exploited a part of the deposit in the past. Metallurgy there was excellent. That deposit supposedly historically received 75% recovery run of mine. So it's a very interesting deposit, and it's open up dip, and there's a lot of exploration potential around it.
How about Secret Pass?
Secret Pass is further to the east from the Daisy. We actually just released a hole out of Secret Pass a couple of days ago, and it was 70 meters of 1.7 grams per ton. It's an oxide deposit. It's epithermal, so slightly different. There's a big structure that goes through the valley that links up Daisy, Secret Pass, and SNA. And this Secret Pass is in the hanging wall of the structure, so it's slightly different. It's an epithermal deposit in volcanics.
All right. And speaking of SNA, what can you share with us?
SNA is probably the least known or least understood of the deposits, the Crown series of deposits. It's about 1.6 grams per ton. It hasn't been exploited. Both Secret Pass and SNA were mined in the past. Secret Pass and Daisy were mined in the past. SNA has not been. It was discovered actually drilling a water well for another operation in the area called the Mother Lode, and it's a shallow oxide deposit, and it's also we think that it's also a Carlin.
You somewhat answered my question already, but I'll ask you just for the record here, sir. Is the lithology consistent within the Crown series of deposits?
No, they are different. As I said, the Daisy and SNA appear to be Carlin type deposits. They have slightly different hosts, but they're carbonate hosted, and Secret Pass is an epithermal, so it is different. It's a volcanic hosted rock.
Mr. Allen, what can you share with us regarding Northern Empire's conducting an aggressive campaign in the Crown series of deposits?
Yeah, we are with 2 rigs right now. We've got 2 RC rigs going. As I mentioned, we did just release a hole out of Secret Pass, 70 meters at 1.7 grams per ton. A few weeks before that, we had released a hole out of the Daisy deposit, which was 124 meters of 1.4 grams per ton. Very high grade for the state of Nevada in this day and age. And we're going to be releasing more results as we go forward, and the rigs move their way through the property in a systematic fashion.
And is the goal for Northern Empire to build a mine and go into production, or arbitrage?
I think that the best thing is, as we with the management philosophy, it's about shareholder capital and increasing shareholder value and liquidity. So there is a scenario of us turning it on, or there is a scenario of somebody else coming in and making an acquisition. I think that both scenarios are there, and we think that we have the team and the management that can build a mine and make this into a company that is a mine operator.
Speaking of teams, I learned from Rick Rule and Doug Casey that the people running the business are equally, if not more important than the latent material in the ground. Mr. Allen, please introduce us to your board of directors, and what unique skill sets do they bring to Northern Empire?
Well, we like to say that our management team is businessmen that do mining. Grossly speaking, there's 3 groups on the board. You've got Doug Hurst and Ray Threlkeld, who were part of the Newmarket team. Doug was a founder of that company, and Ray was the chairman of the board when that company was sold to Kirkland Lake Gold for $1 billion. These are really businessmen. Ray is a mine builder by nature. He's an ex-Barrick guy, and I believe that the number that he's built for Barrick is about 80 million ounces worth of production. So really strong guy. Second group on the board is what we'll call the Kamenek team, and we've got 2 of the founders and directors there. It's John Robbins and Jim Paterson, and were successfully involved with Kamenek from its being founded as an Explorco in the Yukon and transitioning and being sold to Gold Corp in 2016 for $520 million. And then the third group is what I'll call the underworld team, and they are the guys that founded and managed the underworld company. It was sold to Kinross back in the day. It was the white gold discovery up in the Yukon. That's Adrian Fleming, Jeff Sundar, and Dale Carty. And so it's a really good, experienced board, management, businessmen, founders, and successful sellers of companies that I've got on the board.
Tell us about Michael Allen and what makes him qualified for the task at hand.
Oh, the hardest thing of all, to talk about myself. I'm a geologist by trade. I've been in the mining business for about 20 years. I describe myself as an advanced project guy. I like the projects that are more towards resources and development. I've been all over the Northwest Territories, Yukon, Europe, looking at evaluating and running projects. The last 10 years, I've been dominantly focused in Nevada, and I think that's probably, if you look at another article that Rick Rule has talked about, is you get a management team that is familiar with the jurisdiction. So I've been in Nevada for about the last 10 years. I'm familiar with the regulatory regime. I know the permitting people. I know the service providers, and so that's really where for me, my niche is to get a Nevada project and get it across the line in the way that it is most cost effective and ultimately, being efficient with shareholder capital.
What can you share with us about the technical team?
It's really a great team that we've got down there. There's the mine team, which is the mine manager from Sterling, and all the staff crossed over with us. So the Sterling mine being on care and maintenance, there's a few people that are there. The metallurgist, the process manager, and the mine manager. They're seasoned professionals that have been doing this for a long time, and they are delighted that somebody like Northern Empire came in, saw the opportunity that they'd been seeing for 20 years and hadn't been able to act on, and make it a focus. So they're really excited. Then we've got the exploration team, and we've got an experienced group of Nevada professionals that are running the exploration before. These are guys that have worked with Barrick and various other companies throughout the states, making discoveries and putting mines into production. So I'm very proud of the team. And then we also have a series of what I will call hungry young kids, and they're really interesting to watch because it's out of the box thinking, and they're out there mapping, sampling, enthusiastically working hard, and coming up with questions that need to be answered and making new discoveries. So it's a very exciting team to watch on the technical side.
I'm hearing serially successful and Nevada-centric when you're discussing your team, sir. Let's discuss some numbers here. How much cash or cash equivalents do you have?
In Canadian terms, $16 million.
Talk to us about your cash flow distribution. What is the ratio between cash spent and tangible assets on the balance sheet?
Well, we spend most of our cash and put it into the ground. We're going to be spending about $10 million in the Sterling asset this year, and then we've got then we also will be spending about $3 million in overhead. So we're going to exit the year with about $5 million in the till. We've already obviously spent some money as we're in mid-March.
How much debt do you have?
We don't have any debt.
Who are some of your institutional investors?
Oh, our single largest institutional investor, if you consider them, is Coeur Mining. They have 11.6% of the company. Following them, it's Donald Smith. Invesco is in there. Mackenzie, RBC, a group called Zechner. Those would be that would probably round out the top 5, top 8.
What is the float?
Retail shareholders is about 40% of the company. Actually, and in terms of institutional shareholders, actually management has a large chunk as well. We own about 8% of the company.
What is your burn rate?
This year, our total budget is about $13 million, and we started the year in January with just over 18. So we'll exit the year with about 5 in the till.
Are there any redundant assets such as patented mining claims?
Not particularly. We, as part of the transaction with Imperial, we acquired all the assets of Sterling Gold Mining Corporation. That included some minor NSRs, and we've been gradually liquidating them as they've become interest to people. But there's not a lot of redundant assets.
Tell us about your share structure.
It's a fairly tight share structure. Currently, we've got about 66.5 million out right now. Fully diluted with the options and warrants, we go to about 77.
Are there any change of control fees? And if so, what are the terms?
We have industry standard employment contracts for the senior management of the company. Myself, it's a 3-year change of control clause. That is actually it's indexed off of the share price to motivate me to keep shareholder value up.
All right, sir, you survived the storm. Mr. Allen, multi-layered question here. What is the next unanswered question for Northern Empire? When should we expect results? And what will determine success?
I think that the unanswered question is what is the potential of the Crown series of deposits in the northern part of the project? There's a lot of good geology that has yet to be tested. We're out there actively exploring right now. In terms of results, as I said earlier, we've got 2 rigs up there, and they're moving their way through the project right now. So we're going to be releasing results probably in a fairly steady stream between now and the end of summer. And what will determine success? I think that ultimately success is again, as we go back to an increase in shareholder value and an interesting gold discovery in an underexplored part of Nevada.
Mr. Allen, we've covered the good. What keeps you up at night that we don't know about?
Well, that's an easy one. My 7-year-old son that's on spring break and ready to do all sorts of fun things in his day off.
Well, you have no mercy for me. I have 7-year-old twins and a 9-year-old, and grandchildren. So, but I digress.
Yeah, what keeps me up at night? What I would go back to similar to what the Crown series of deposits will be. I mean, we've got resources up there. We've got some interesting geology, but it is an early stage exploration program. So you really have to temper expectations. We're putting out great results, but it is an early stage exploration program. There's a lot of things that need to be thought of and discovered, but I like what we're doing. I like the team that we've got. I like the location. It's the best jurisdiction in the world for mining. So there's risk, obviously, because this is mining, but there is reward because this is we've done the best that we can in terms of picking an asset that gives a good shot for success.
And finally, what did I forget to ask?
Oh boy, you've this has been a thorough interview. What did you forget to ask? People on the more technical side will ask questions about how confident we are in the metallurgy, particularly at the Sterling. That's a common question. I've been asked several times how many columns and how many bottom rolls, and are you sure that the sample is representative? And the answer that I give to that is, well, it's been mined before, and these deposits have been mined before. So the metallurgy has largely been done on not columns or bottle rolls, it's mine scale. So I think that the de-risking part is been done for a lot of these deposits.
Michael, for someone listening who wants to get more information on Northern Empire, please share the contact details.
Yeah, the best thing for more information about the company is to have a look at our website, which is www.northernemp.com. Our ticker symbols are on the V, the TSXV is NM, and on the OTC it's PSPGF.
And for direct inquiries, please contact Dylan Berg. His phone number is 604-646-4522, and you may email him at info@northernemp.com. And last but not least, please visit our website, www.provenandprobable.com, where we interview the most respected names in the natural resource space. You may reach us at contact@provenandprobable.com. Michael Allen of Northern Empire, thank you for joining us today on Proven and Probable.
Thank you.
As a reminder for our listeners, Northern Empire is a sponsor of Proven and Probable.
Thank you for joining us today on Proven and Probable. Remember to like and subscribe for more conversations with the most respected names in the natural resource space. Check out our website at www.provenandprobable.com. The information presented on Proven and Probable is provided for educational and informational purposes only, without any express or implied warranty of any kind, including warranties of accuracy, completeness, or fitness for any particular purpose. The information is not intended to be and does not constitute financial, investment, or trading advice, or any other advice. You should not make any financial, investment, or trading decision based on any of the information presented without first undertaking independent due diligence and consultation with a professional broker or competent financial advisor.